Your test for P1 to P3 goes over everything that's in your review, so whatever's in your review is fair game to be on your test. Test is 12 questions. You should be perfectly fine with everything if you are okay with what's on your review. The first section in your review tells you to evaluate each expression for the given variable. So we're plugging in the variable wherever we see it and then simplifying. For number 1, we have x squared plus 11x plus 24, where x is equal to -2. So anywhere we see that x, we're going to plug in that -2. So that means that we're going to have -2 squared plus 11 times -2 plus 24. From here, that -2 squared is 4. The 11 times -2 is -22. And then that 24 drops down. I'm going to add my 24 with my -22 first to give myself 4 plus 2, and that is 6. For number 2, we have 4x over x minus 1, where x is equal to 3. So again, anywhere we see that x, we're going to plug in that 3 for it. So we're going to have 4 times 3 over 3 minus 1. That 4 times 3 is 12. The 3 minus 1 is 2. So that just gives us 6. For 3 and 4, we're simplifying fully. For 3, we have 72x to the 4th, y to the 6th, over 54x to the 7th, y. For this one, the 72 and the 54 are both divisible by 9. So that 72 is going to turn into 8. The 54 turns into 6. The 8 and the 6 are both divisible by 2, so that 8 turns into a 4. The 6 turns into a 3. You also have an x to the 4th over x to the 7th. So we'll subtract those powers. So it's going to leave us with 4 over 3, x to the 4th minus the 7th. And we have y to the 6th over y. So we subtract those powers to give us y to the 6th minus the 1st. So this is going to mean that we have 4 over 3 times x to the -3rd times y to the 5th. That power of -3 is going to go to the top, or sorry, go to the bottom of that fraction. Goes to the bottom, and it turns that power of -3 into a +3. That y to the 5th goes to the top, so that way it keeps that 5 a +5. So it's going to give us 4y to the 5th over 3x cubed. For number 4, we're given -3x to the 5th, y to the -2nd, raised to the power of -2, times x to the 9th, y to the 3rd. So we're going to start by making that -2 power on the y a positive by putting it underneath the 3x to the 5th, or the -3x to the 5th. This is still raised to the -2nd power, and we're still multiplying it by the x to the 9th, y cubed. So from here, we're going to turn that negative power of 2 into a positive by flipping that fraction. So we have y squared over -3x to the 5th raised to the 2nd power times x to the 9th, y to the 3rd. Now we're going to apply that power to the numerator and the denominator. So we're going to have y squared to the 2nd power over -3 to the 2nd power times x to the 5th to the 2nd power. And then again, that's still being multiplied by x to the 9th, y to the 3rd. Your powers raised to powers get multiplied. So that y to the 2nd raised to the 2nd power is y to the 4th power. Over -3 squared is 9. X to the 5th raised to the 2nd power is x to the 10th. And we're multiplying that by x to the 9th, y cubed. And we can put that over 1 to make things a little bit easier for ourselves. From here, this is going to leave us with x to the 9th, y to the 4th, times y to the 3rd, over 9, x to the 10th. You are going to simplify by adding the 4 and the 3 on the y, and then subtracting the 9 and the 10 on the x's. So that 1/9 is going to stay. Your x is going to be 9 minus 10th, and the y is going to be the 4th plus the 3rd. So this gives us 1/9 times x to the -1st, y to the 7th. The x to the -1st goes to the bottom to make that -1 power a positive, and that y to the 7th stays to the top, so that way it stays a positive power. So that's going to give us y to the 7th over 9x to the 1st, or just 9x. From here, we are looking at the expression that's given to us, writing it in standard form, stating the degree, leading coefficient, and constant. For number 5, we're given negative x plus 4x to the 9th y cubed plus 2xy cubed minus 14x cubed y squared. We are going to first write down that 4x to the 9th y cubed because that's the highest power, because the power on that is 12. Next, we'll have the negative 14x cubed y squared. The power on that would be 5. Then goes down the 2xy cubed. The power on that would be 4. And lastly, the negative x. Your degree on this comes from the first term. The power on that term we said was 12 because we add the powers. The leading coefficient also comes from the first term in standard form, which would be 4. And the constant would be the letter that does not have a number attached, the number that doesn't have the letter attached to it, which in this case would be 0 or none. I would take either one. For number 6, we are given 6 minus 7x cubed plus 5x to the 6th power minus 2x plus 3x squared. First thing that's going to go down here is that highest powered term, which is 5x to the 6th. Then the negative 7x cubed plus 3x squared minus 2x plus 6. Your degree comes from the first term, which is 6. The leading coefficient also comes from the first term, which would be 5. And your constant in this case, which is the number without the letter, is 6. Your next section tells us to perform the indicated operation. The first one that we see here is 8x squared plus 2y plus 3y minus 8. So we're adding these two. The first thing that we do is just get rid of those parentheses. So that's going to be 8x squared plus 2y plus 3y minus 8. We have like terms, so we will combine our like terms now. This will give us 8x squared plus 5y minus 8. For number 8, we have 2x cubed minus 5x squared plus 10x minus 7 plus 4x squared minus 7x minus 2. So again, we have addition between the two parentheses. We're just going to get rid of the parentheses and combine like terms. Your first term that's going to go down is the 2x cubed. Next, you have the negative 5x squared and the 4x squared, which give us a negative x squared. Next would be the 10x minus the 7x, which is 3x. And lastly, the negative 7 minus 2 is negative 9. For number 9, you are given 3x squared plus 2x minus 1 minus 5x. So now we are subtracting. So the first thing we're going to do is distribute that negative and change the sign on each of the terms in the set of parentheses that negative is in front of. So that's going to give us 3x squared plus 2x minus 1 plus 5x. From here, we do have like terms with the 2x and the 5x. So it gives us 3x squared plus 7x minus 1. For 10, you have 6x to the 4th power minus 4x cubed minus x plus 3 minus 20x squared minus 16 plus 9x to the 4th minus 11x squared. So again, the first thing we're going to do here is distribute that negative to each of those terms in the second set of parentheses. And that's going to give you 6x to the 4th minus 4x cubed minus x plus 3 minus 20x squared minus 16 minus 9x to the 4th plus 11x squared. Combining our like terms, starting with the x to the 4th, we have negative 3x to the 4th. Then with the x cubed, we are going to just drop that down. Next would be the x squared, so we have negative 20x squared plus 11x squared, which is negative 9x squared. Next, we are working with the x, which we just have one of, so we'll drop that down. And lastly, you have the 3 minus 16, which is negative 13. Now we will be multiplying these. For 11, we have x cubed times x squared plus 4. We're just distributing in the x cubed, so x cubed times x squared is x to the 5th power, and x cubed times 4 is 4x cubed. For 12, we have x plus 4 times x plus 9. So x times x is x squared. X times 9 is 9x. 4 times x is 4x. And 4 times 9 is 36. We have like terms, so we combine them to get x squared plus 13x plus 36. And that's our answer. For 13, we have x plus 3 cubed. So I don't expect you to know the formula for this. So if you don't, you're going to use the foiling method. So we would rewrite this as x plus 3 times x plus 3 times x plus 3. You're going to multiply out the two x plus 3's that are at the end. So we'll keep the first, x plus 3. We'll get x squared plus 3x plus 3x plus 9. Your like terms combine to give you x plus 3 times x squared plus 6x plus 9. And now we'll FOIL this out, or distribute the x and distribute the 3 and combine like terms. So x times x squared is x cubed. X times 6x is 6x squared. X times 9 is 9x. The 3 times x squared is 3x squared. 3 times 6x is 18x. And 3 times 9 is 27. Combining our like terms, we have x cubed. The 6x squared plus 3x squared is 9x squared. Then the 9x and the 18x give us 27x plus 27. For 14, we have x minus 3 squared, so this is x minus 3 times x minus 3. If we FOIL it out, the x times x is x squared. X times negative 3 is negative 3x. Negative 3 times x is negative 3x. And negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9. Combine your like terms, and that's x squared minus 6x plus 9. Your last section tells you to factor completely. For 15, you have negative 6x to the 4th power minus 3x cubed plus 12x. Because that first term is a negative, you're going to factor out that negative. Then the greatest common factor is 3x. So that's going to give us negative 3x times 2x cubed plus x squared minus 4. For 16, we have x squared minus 64. You can take the square root of both of those terms, and they're separated by a negative. So we'll use a minus b times a plus b. And that's just going to give us x minus 8 times x plus 8. For 17, you have a perfect square trinomial, which means you can take the square root of the x squared, that's x. You can take the square root of the 9, that's 3. Positive 2 times x times 3 gives you the 6x. So this means that this factors to be x plus 3 squared. Or x plus 3 times x plus 3. It's the same exact thing. For 18, you have x cubed minus 27. You have two terms that you can take the trinomial, or the cube root of both. So that's going to give you an x and a 3. You have subtraction that separates these two, so you'll use a minus b times a squared plus ab plus b squared. Your a is x, your b is 3. So that's going to give you x minus 3 times x squared plus 3x plus 9. For 19, we have 3x squared plus 14x plus 8. We do not have a greatest common factor, so we are going to multiply our 3 and our 8 since a is not 1. That gives us 24. Your positive powers of 24 that add to 14 are 2 and 12. So we rewrite this to be 3x squared plus 2x plus 12x plus 8. We have 4 terms now, so we'll factor by grouping. Group the first two, factor out the greatest common factor, which is the x. Second two, greatest common factor is positive 4. So this gives us x times 3x plus 2 plus 4 times 3x plus 2. Your two parentheses are identical, so that gives you x plus 4 times 3x plus 2. For 20, we have 2x squared minus x minus 15. Again, you do not have a greatest common factor, so we multiply 2 times negative 15, which gives us negative 30. The factors of negative 30 that add up to be negative 1 are 5 and negative 6. So this gives us 2x squared plus 5x minus 6x minus 15. Factor this by grouping. Factor out an x from the first set of parentheses, a negative 3 from the second. That gives you x times 2x plus 5 minus 3 times 2x plus 5. Two parentheses are identical, so that's x minus 3 times 2x plus 5. For 21, you have 9x squared minus 12x plus 4. Again, you do not have a greatest common factor here, so 9 times 4 is 36. Your factors of 36 that add up to be negative 12 are going to be negative 6 and negative 6, so this gives you 9x squared minus 6x plus 4. You're going to factor this by grouping. Factor out a 3x from the first, a negative 2 from the second. That gives us 3x times 3x minus 2, minus 2 times 3x minus 2. So that means that you're going to have 3x minus 2 times 3x minus 2, which is the same exact thing as 3x minus 2 raised to the second power. You can give me either one. It doesn't matter. If you know your formula, it's easier to do the perfect square trinomial formula, but if not, you can do it this way also. For your last one, number 22, you have 6x squared minus 27x minus 105. Your greatest common factor here is 3, so we're going to factor that 3 out first. You're going to be left with 2x squared minus 9x minus 35. Your 2 and your negative 35 multiply. To give you negative 70. Your factors of negative 70 that add up to be negative 9 are 5 and negative 14. So this gives you 3 times 2x squared plus 5x minus 14x minus 35. Group your first two, group your last two. Factor out an x from the first and negative 7 from the second. So this gives you 3 times x times 2x plus 5 minus 7 times 2x plus 5. Two parentheses are the same, so this gives you a final answer of 3 times x minus 7 times 2x plus 5.